special guest star, Miss Bernadette Peters!
Hey everybody. So you just heard a part of the intro of The Muppet Show. And the reason why is because I'm here to review the Muppets movie for you today. This is the new Muppet movie. Came out around Thanksgiving time of this year. And I must say, you guys, it is a good film. I really enjoyed this movie. I really think it did bring back kind of the spirit of the Muppets from back in the 70s and 80s, back when Jim Henson was full prime with his show and with the other Muppet films. Um, as much as I love the film, there were a few flaws, and I will get to that in a few minutes. Um, so I guess this is kind of a. I already know what I'm going to say, but in a way, it's kind of a hard movie to review in some senses. One could argue what I'm about to say might be kind of against the target audience in the sense that, this is for kids, if it's a family movie, they didn't really need to go into too much complexity and all this. And there's the other side of me that says, um, it is a film. It's getting good as, if not better than some of the other films of the year. Like we're talking, this film got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes here, people. I mean, it's getting raving reviews, and I'll get to in a minute why. I kind of think I'm glad that this film is getting a lot of attention. It's really good, but there's some flaws that I think are. I really wish that the film had a little bit of a lower rating than that. But anyway, that's just my little rant there. But so anyway, guys, the Muppets movie, the story of this movie. So I will explain the story, and then I will give my opinion on it here in a second. So in the Muppets movie, guys, we're introduced to a new Muppet. His name is Walter, and he is the brother of a character played by Jason Segel from How I Met Your Mother fame and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Amy Adams is in the film as Jason Segel's wife, at least in the story she is. And so Walter hears that his brother is going to the Muppet Studios soon. He's going to go to California, go to Hollywood, and they're going to adventure through the Muppet tour of the Muppet Studio. So Walter really wants to go, and of course his brother has a ticket for him, so he can go. So they're there, and the town is kind of dead. I mean, it's great that all this Muppet stuff is up and about. They still offer the tour for people who want to go on it. But there's cobwebs everywhere. It's dusty. It's dirty. There's not a lot of people there. Every now and then you might see a person walk into a store nearby, but they really don't pay attention to the Muppet Studio. So the Muppet Studio is kind of going downhill. And it's what they're trying to represent here in the film is the fact that the Muppets have been gone for so long, and that people have kind of forgotten about them, and now the Muppets are adventuring on to new things. Kermit has a new job, Miss Piggy has a new job, the whole cast and crew has new jobs. So it still exists, but it's very low key, and I guess the film does a very good job doing that. Um, so after adventuring through California, seeing what they want to see, they go to a mansion with Kermit and Miss Piggy on the front of the gate, and they later find out that it is Kermit the Frog's mansion. So they talk to Kermit, they explain what's going on, and they said they really want to get to see the Muppet Studio the way it once was. And Kermit explains, and they explain too, the whole situation that they need $10 million to resurrect the Muppet Studio, not only for them to perform in it again, but to keep it on the land. Because another problem they run into in the movie is a character played by Chris Cooper wants to take down the studio and use it for an oil company that he's building. And how he does this in a villainous way is he pretends that he's all about the Muppets. He says, "Oh, don't worry, I'm going to turn into a Muppet museum. It's going to be everything the Muppet fans would want." So he lies to them, and he lies to the people who think that it's going to be turned to this museum. And so people kind of go for it after a while. But the Muppets and Jason Segel and Amy Adams and Walter all know that it's really used for that oil company that it wants to do. So the Muppets got to come up with money and they got to come up with it quick. So what they do is they're able to eventually, after a series of being turned down and fighting to get onto TV for at least an hour, if not two, to be on the air so they can show people what they can still do. So they come up with something called a Muppet Telethon, which is very much in the spirit of the Muppet Show, which I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy about this movie. And so they're pretty much doing the Muppet Show, but in 2011. Um, so they assembled this Muppet Telethon after recruiting everybody and finding a space to do it. After cleaning up the theater, they're able to do what they want to do. And from there, that's where the Muppets try to make their $10 million to keep the Muppet Theater. So that's the brief synopsis, you guys. Now I'll explain the movie. So the movie, like I said, I really enjoyed this movie. I think they did it in the spirit of the Muppets perfectly. Um, Fozzie, Animal, Kermit, Miss Piggy, they're all the way you remember them. They speak the same way. They sound the same. Even if they hire different voice actors and actresses, they perform them so well that you can barely tell that they hired someone else to do the part. Um, the puppeteering was great. I like how the live action and the puppeteering really didn't interfere with each other. They were able to make it so the puppeteering could be its own thing and the live action could be its own thing as well. I like how they arranged that and assembled that and organized it very well. But where this film got a little bit iffy for me, you guys, is even though it was great to see this telethon in the way of the Muppet Show, I felt at that point in the movie the film kind of it almost lost its spirit in a way. I mean, the film did such a good job with um, resurrecting and recruiting all the Muppets. It was just fun to see them recruit them, kind of seeing what they've been doing all this time, why they haven't been on TV, why the Muppet Show is dead, and what were they doing all these years? And so I like how they built up to that, how they recruited everybody, how they incorporated musical scores, musical numbers into the movie. All that was great. It was funny when it was meant to be funny. All that was great in the first half of the film. The second half of the film, though, I must say, even though it was great to see this Muppet Show like event go on, there was parts throughout the show after the well-known intro that we remember from the Muppet Show. There was skits in between there that just really didn't feel alive for some reason. Even though I know the Muppets were they tried to get the impression that they were doing this in the last minute. At the same time, though, I think because this was a movie, I think they really could have took advantage of that and done something that we remembered from the Muppet Show, and it could have been really funny. And for some reason, that segment, that good 20 to 30 segment, I don't know how long it was, of the attempted Muppet Telethon, it just kind of felt dead to me. I mean, the audience wasn't laughing at that point in the movie when I went to see it in the movie theater. Um, Even though Chris Cooper was villainous and funny at the same time, at that point in the film, I really think there's something like I said it's almost as if they were high spirited for the first half and the second half of the film, and by part three, kind of like act three of the movie, we get to the Muppet intro. We're still excited about what's going on, and then we get to the show, and it's like, well, where's the spirit? It's kind of dying out. So it's like spirit, 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 and then you get all the way down to the ending, and they're so bored, and it's kind of lost its spirit after a while. Um, so the movie's good, you guys. I'm not saying it's bad. In fact, if anything, go see this movie. In fact, it's very good. Um, I wouldn't say this whole 97% thing is really bothering me on Rotten Tomatoes. I really didn't think it was that good. Um, if I really got to decide what a good percentage would be for that site, I would say 82 to 85 and no higher than that. Like I said, that is a very good rating, even still. So the Muppets, guys, it is good, but don't expect the film that you're hearing about. It's good, but don't expect the masterpiece that they're saying it is.